Bop, 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 bop.
There's the music.
I swear, by Raptar's hammer.
Okay.
Did you ever see that show? Did you ever watch? Are you Star Wars, Star Trek person?
No.
Did you ever see Galaxy Quest?
Oh, I loved Galaxy Quest.
Well, that was a send up of those types of movies, but in a very, loving way.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that was
love
good.
that. I've seen Galaxy Quest, I bet 10 times because it's just funny. It's just a lot of great lines, a lot of great acting. It's very Sigourney Weaver, right?
Yeah,
Who's the main guy? There's the
Tim
guy.
Allen.
Yes, from Home Improvement. Yeah.
It was very interesting how they assembled that cast. And there's I think on Netflix or Amazon, there's a making of Galaxy Quest. They talk about all that history of how they assembled the craft, who they were going to get, who they wanted to get, and they were shooting a different movie at the same time.
Okay.
Another important movie. And they felt that because this movie was happening over here, they didn't pay so much attention to us over here to kind of let us do our thing.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in that. So today is Monday, right? Today's Wednesday.
You said it with enough question in your voice that people knew you were searching.
Yeah, it feels like a Monday just because things aren't working smooth for me today. So it feels like a Monday. It is Wednesday. So you played basketball yesterday.
I did. We had to sign a waiver as we walked into the building that we don't have a temperature.
And did they take temperatures or that's an honor system?
It's like these old guys want to kill each other, let them have it. But, Florida's open.
What does that mean exactly?
I mean, the governor doesn't have any mask mandate. So you can go in and out. And so every mandate, every masking thing is, per, private place. Walmart still has you wear a mask, and Home Depot has you wear a mask. But now, where we play is a county, even though the YMCA is not letting basketball players play basketball, because they're private, but this is the county, and they were letting people play pickleball and let people come into the gym. And it's like they were the last domino to fall was allowing guys to play basketball. It's crazy. And everybody's just trying to, save you from yourself.
Yes.
But we've I'd say, well, I know 80% of us have been vaccinated. The 20% that haven't been vaccinated, which means two guys, they're not going to get vaccinated. They have no interest in being vaccinated.
Okay.
So,
and you guys are okay with that?
I'm not going to get sick.
Okay.
If anybody gets sick, he's going to get sick.
Okay.
Right?
So how did it feel to be playing basketball again?
It was amazing. It's been a year. We played that twice a week for almost 10 years. We've been playing that game. Those guys have been playing for 20 years.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
So how out of shape was everyone?
You know what? Surprisingly, everybody was in pretty decent shape. Nobody was. I thought because of my rowing, I'd have a little bit of an edge.
No. Well, what have they been doing?
Who knows? I mean, I guess what comes out to be. I don't want to bore everybody with stuff, but so when I row and whatever my cardio minutes is about 56, whatever it is, just to give you a benchmark. So that's
okay.
I mean, walking, rowing, the whole day, somewhere around 50, 55, something like that, whatever those means. 1 hour basketball, 161.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the basketball way out, is much better workout than the rowing.
So the way this works is you all go in, you all sign a waiver saying you do not have a fever. And what good is that waiver? How was that?
It's the county protecting themselves and stuff. The county everybody wants, quid pro quo. They don't want to just give you a green light to play unless you say you're not sick. So
that way they're not liable if COVID.
It's it's no one's going to sue anybody anyway.
Well, I know you said that you won't get sick, but I mean, I have read, tell me if I'm wrong, that there are people that have been vaccinated that have gotten COVID.
I have the magic DNA. No, I don't know. You know what? The thing of it is that with nobody who's gotten the shot has gone to the hospital or been dead. Nobody.
Well, I guess I've read things that are contrary to that.
So you're saying people have gotten the shot have been dead or went to the hospital
Went to the
and
hospital.
it's like
Um, I'll
ventilator?
pull, I'll pull up the articles because I do have articles today about men versus women. I'll pull up the articles. I guess in New York, we're hearing a lot more, and I get it. They're really trying to keep us informed because look how we live in New York. We're very close to each other.
I get it.
There's not a lot of distancing. There's a lot of subway riding. So we're getting bombarded. We heard there was a story about a nurse that had been vaccinated. I can't tell you which one. Got COVID, is in the hospital. Maybe because she's around it. I don't really know. But so we're getting a lot of those stories.
Of
So
course.
I will follow up with that. I think it's rare, of course. I don't think it's a common thing, but I think we're still learning how this.
No doubt about it. And I don't think I'm bulletproof. I'm not foolish, but I'm like, versus what? Mentally, you gotta, kids are going crazy. People are at some point you just got to say, fine, we're going to take the risk. Vaccines are out there, take them. Let's get on with our lives a little bit. We're still going to fall out. People still get the flukes. People still drive their cars. People still get car accidents every day. We have to take on risk.
Yeah, I mean, I think my stance is just because this is so new and we're still trying to figure out how to handle it, right? We're still like, are you worried about the J&J information that's come out?
I am not.
Okay. I mean, I know it's a minimal thing, but at the same time,
Well, particularly it's been for women from 18 to 48.
I wonder
That's
why.
Yeah,
Why?
they don't know why. That's why they put it on pause. So, I mean, not being selfish, my age group or person hasn't popped up in that
Yeah.
problematic area.
And do you think they're being honest about it? Do you think in any way that they would try to hide?
No,
No, you don't.
nope. That's
I
just
guess
my,
I'm cynical, but
at the end of the day, you've got to wrap your head around some sort of cornerstone of information, right? CDC, if they're trying to screw us all, we're all done. We're all dead. So CDC's watching this. And literally, the Johnson and Johnson is literally 1 in a million. That's the people having the blood clotting, which isn't fun and it's not good.
right.
But no one's dying from it, and it's literally 1 in a million. So
Yeah.
I'll take those chances.
Yeah. And did you see the article about how they're now finally coming out and saying during the last presidency that they are admitting now that they were suppressing a lot of information?
What? That's hard to believe.
Oh, are you being serious?
No, I'm not being serious. That guy was
Oh.
an asshole.
So even though I think we all felt it, there has to be some ownership. So that'll be interesting to see too, because I think we all are trying to focus on now and how to get better now. But it is a little heartbreaking to know that, much more could have been done.
Oh, of course. Yeah, a lot could have been done. A shitload could have been done.
So now we're just, trying to play catch up, right?
Now we got to try to get people vaccinated. And you're still going to have my guess is it's going to 40 to 50% is where we're going to top out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did. The last thing I heard was they were predicting in the United States, it'll peak at 60%. But I will tell you here in New York, I think it's higher, but I'm still having a hard time. I can't get in yet because they lowered it to 16. So many people are getting it. So I think more people in New York will just because of the way we live, I could see where someone in Florida, you're in your own car, you're far away from everybody. You're like, let everybody else get the shot. Because you're not really seeing any like scary hospital scenes or anything like that.
Yeah, right? I'm not stepping over bodies. I'm fine.
Yeah. So I do have more fun topics instead of talking about COVID.
Yes.
I do want to follow up just real briefly about.
And say that you're wrong about salaries.
No, I wasn't going to say that at all.
Really?
I was going to, did you see any of the banter on Facebook? I did post it on Facebook and I asked people.
I put a laughing emoji and I moved on with my day.
Oh, good. Oh, as you should. Yes. So here's what I'm learning so far. And of course, you can do all kinds of research. Everybody's going to give their spin. What I'm learning in just a tiny little nutshell is it seems that in instances where there's not a lot of policy follow-up, like in the restaurant industry, things like that. There seems to be more of a discrepancy with people working in the wait service field, where men get a lot more hours and the busier hours during dinner, because they said the mindset is still of, hey, these men are raising families, or they're the provider. That's what I'm hearing from people in the industry. Paula did respond on it too, and she said in her day when she worked in corporate, that the mindset was men needed to earn more money, and that she definitely found out men were getting paid more than what she was getting paid because of the mindset again. And she said those were, in days previously, right? And current day, it is a little bit different, because we don't have, I don't believe the mindset across the board anymore is the man is the bread earner, right? Like, I feel like
That's 30 years ago.
we've gotten past that. I did see that in 1963 they did pass the Equal Pay Act, 1963. So it's actually illegal for employers to pay, lower wages and stuff, right? So
You got the camera.
What?
Now I'm going to take a picture of you apologizing. Here we go.
Oh, you're gonna have to wait a minute for that. Just wait just a minute. Okay, so it says that this is the racial and gender pay gap statistics for 2021 by a place called Pay Scale. Okay. It says, among our sample, the median salary for men is roughly 18% higher than the median salary for women. This figure represents a 1% improvement from 2020 and an 8% improvement from 2015, when the median salary for men was 25% higher than the median salary for women. So it is getting better, and we are getting up there. But I think in places where you don't necessarily like in the food industry, where no one's really forcing you to do that, it is happening. It's a matter of, can you fight for it? Will you fight for it? And then will it make a difference? Because the women that I spoke to said that they fought for it, and they said, this is why we don't want people talking about their salaries, because it causes anxiety and tension. Well, I think the reason they don't want you to talk about your salaries is because if they're doing something wrong, they don't want you to know they're doing something wrong. So I think it's getting better, but I think it's still happening.
So your example is the food industry.
In corporate America as well is still paying men more, because they still are caught in the presumption.
You're saying it, but there's no, I know you said 18% of this and that, but what is it? What's the underlying math on the figures below? Is it a lifetime of work, or is it a year-to-year work, or is it categories of work? I mean, sometimes men go into jobs where they're underwater welders and 93% are men, and they're making, $137 an hour, while women aren't doing that job. So these guys are making $137 an hour. They're going to crush a waitress's salary. I mean, where are those numbers coming? I can't believe if you got two people doing the same job, they're going to get paid the same.
I'm telling you everything I read. I get what you're saying. Yes, if women aren't doing that job, then of course they're not going to come in without the experience and make the same amount of money.
And I'm not trying to make this men against women. I'm just saying they throw that number out. Well, the original number came from the fact that, well, women not take off, but they drop out of the workforce from 27 to 42 to raise the family. So lifetimes of earnings. The lawyer that they went to, the guy that they went to law school with, well, during those 15 years, he's rising up through the corporation. He's becoming a senior vice president. He's making a shitload of money. She's raising the kids. She's not making any. That's just the nature of the beast. And then they're going to take his salary and her salary and say, oh my God, he's made $1.2 million and she's made $700,000. There's a big 30% difference in the salary.
And of course, there's no argument from me about that. I'm talking about people at the same level.
I want to see it.
Men
versus drivers.
Women. So the thing I just read to you has no bearing on what you're looking for.
You do really think if you owned a restaurant, you would pay a man more money because he's got a family?
But you're asking, would you pay?
Would you get the best?
I'm telling you, people that responded to me, that's what they're saying.
Right.
That's what they're saying. So I have a tendency
This
to
sounds
believe
a
it.
little Trump-like. Many people are saying.
Oh my God. So we're going to agree to disagree on this.
All
I
right.
think that you're having a hard time with this because in your mind, things are more fair than what they really
I
are.
say it happened in the 60s. Absolutely. Secretaries got paid dirt. Men were being paid more because they're raising a family. And you know, the conversation. Well, yeah, this guy's got 3 kids at home. Of course he's got to make more money. I'm doing the same job. I know, but you don't, you're a single woman. You're going to get paid, a fraction. That happened. There's no doubt about that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if I'm an engineer working at an engineering place and we both got 7 years experience and we both have similar educations, we're going to get paid almost the same. Depend upon, you then the personality types. I'm more aggressive. I'm going to get more bonuses. Maybe the woman is getting more bonuses, more whatever.
That's definitely something that came up, that statistically men are more likely to ask for a raise and women aren't. So of course that's part of it. I do believe, we're going to agree to disagree. I do believe that there are sections out there in the world where women are getting paid less, not because they've stayed home with kids, just because they can. Who's ever making the decision of the salary because they can. I think it's still happening.
It's possible, but that's your feelings.
Okay, it is my feelings, but it's also based on the response I got on Facebook and from what I read.
Did they quote
online.
chapter and verse? I found out the guy I was working with was making $30,000 more a year than I was. Did anybody ever say that?
As far as men versus women, or just
women
people?
you talk to on Facebook? Did anybody say, yeah, I was in this field for 10 years and in whatever there was, sailboat repair, and the guy next to me was making 20% more than I was. We were doing the exact same job. Who said that?
We should have Paula on Friday, because Paula was very specific about
I'm sure Paul. Yeah, well, Paul is talking about the 70s and 80s
being paid a lot less.
Of course, and I think that absolutely happened.
Okay.
In the past. Absolutely.
So what I will do is I will get some current day people that have numbers that will satisfy you, because I think it's still happening. And you're saying it's based on my feelings. I'm saying it's based on stuff I'm reading. So we'll agree to disagree so I can get some more numbers for you.
Fair enough.
Okay. Tell me what your topics are. I do have more fun topics other than this.
Arguing is fun is the topic number one.
Well, no, we're gonna disagree.
Okay.
I firmly.
Well, look at home shopping. The females are paid more than the males.
For what?
For being on-air hosts. They're paid. Everybody's paid differently. They get paid to a certain base, and then you got their top female salespeople are getting paid more than the top male salespeople. I would bet my fortune on it.
Based on their
performance, based on yeah.
And what I'm talking about, I hear you, but just because
I feel like I'm talking to a psychiatrist. I hear what you're saying. I understand your feelings.
Well, because I do want to let you know that I'm hearing you, because I think because I'm disagreeing, you think I'm not paying attention.
No.
The female hosts are being paid more because of their revenue that they're generating.
Of course.
Which has nothing to do with the topic that I'm discussing, which is at the same level.
Right.
So if a man was generating as much as a woman and the man's being paid less, then we would be having a conversation. But you're telling me she's generating more, so she's being paid more. Okay.
Right. And I would like to see the professions where they're not being paid equally anymore. I've got to believe nurses are being paid the same. Male nurse, female, male nurse.
I did hear from people in the nursing industry, and one person, actually, I need to talk to her. She said she would talk to me off of Facebook about it because she did have some things to say, which I respect that. You don't want to talk about it.
Of course.
On the wall.
I could be educated in this. I'm just saying, human resources. You're 6 years in the business. You've got your certain 3% pay raises. You're coming in at this price. You're a man. Boom, we're going to give you more money. I can't believe that's ever happening in a corporate situation.
Well, and I can see where you feel that way because you are a man and you've been in that world, and it's nothing that's ever been like in your face, Tom. You know what I mean? It's never been in your face because you're
telling me I could go to General Mills and they've got engineers and they're paying people differently based on sex. That's what you're saying is happening.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, well, they're fair enough. I will agree to disagree. My
Yeah.
topics are female transformation
Oh,
and nothing like a deadline.
okay. And I've got babies,
Babies?
babies,
Or maybe you said you got
2021 dating trends and questions to ask at a party.
wow, I like yours much more than mine.
They're more fun than what we have been talking about. Tell me about this transformation thing.
Oh, I like I said, I'm addicted to TikTok, and a very popular thing is a female transformation. She'll video herself getting out of no makeup in a robe, hair's just, she looks like a witch.
Okay.
And then it's like, then they do some sort of wipe, and it's like, oh my God.
Oh, I've seen the thing where they put their hand up at the camera, right?
Yeah, it's very, very clever. I see different clever transitions. One gal does this. She takes one finger and she takes it out of the screen, and the next finger pulls it back in like this. It's very interesting. It's fun.
That's cool.
So it's nice to see creative things. So that I like that. So, but it's like, oh my God, this is amazing because a man can't transform like that. If you're a 6, you're a 6, you can go, maybe you could get to a 7 if you're wearing a suit. Or you can look like a 5 if you're wearing, flip-flops and a farmer's hat.
That's very true. Are you seeing a lot on TikTok? I'm not on there yet. A lot of like body transformations. Are people doing weight loss stuff on there as well?
I've not seen anything like that.
I'm curious.
I mean, maybe, one. It's being there, you're selling something, but it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I like that stuff too. I've seen some of it on Instagram. I would do it, but I don't want to do the before shot.
And you gotta look drunk and out of it.
No, that is super fun. That is super fun to see that. What do you think about, because we've all been inside during this last year, do you think there's going to be more babies or less babies in the coming year?
I think this has been really hard on people. I mean, it's fun to have a 2-day no power in New York. Then you get to let's spend 2 days in bed or whatever you're going to do with your spouse, versus 12 months of I'm going to kill this mother.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, it's probably a good time to be single on a certain level. If you had mental stability, if you were mentally stable, or were prone to depression, probably not a bad time.
Yeah.
On certain levels.
I know I've talked to many of my single friends. They're like, thank goodness I'm single, because we've heard the stories from people that are trapped together.
Oh, could you imagine that you're in a bad marriage or something? Ugh, that would be unbelievably bad.
No, thank you. So with that analogy, are you saying you think there'll be less babies?
That's a good question.
I know
my kids didn't make any babies.
And are you ready for that? Do you want them to?
No, well, I don't think they're ready for that, which is fine. I'm fine with it. Wouldn't say, where's my grandkids? I'm not ready. I'm not.
Okay. So
I'm going to say, I'll take a stab and say there will be more babies, because people will do that as a distraction from horrors of every day.
And I think that's a good guess. And that was my guess too. Here's what it says. There's going to be an estimated 300, what?
13% more babies.
300,000 fewer babies expected in 2021. Here's what it says. U.S. births, have been falling for nearly a decade. 2019 saw the fewest births in 35 years, but the final numbers for 2020 are slipping even lower. An estimated 300,000 fewer babies are expected in 2021, according to the Brookings Institution think tank. It says because the pandemic was turbulent and money was tight and it was very stressful, people were purposely you had more time to be purposeful of like, I will not get pregnant during this time. So isn't that interesting? Because I would have guessed the exact opposite.
But yes, isn't it interesting? But it's also, I think it's generational as well. I
I think
mean,
it is generational.
I come from a family of 8. I've got 7 brothers and sisters. So
Right.
we currently are anywhere from Patrick's 56 all the way to my brother who's 70 something, right? And everybody's got a couple of kids at least. So we're looking at it not, here's an interesting population of, when you put everybody in a pile, you're looking at 30 kids or something.
Right.
Only two, no, I'm sorry, 3 of my 2 nieces and 1 nephew have any kids. So I've got nieces and nephews that go from 20 something, mid 20s to, well, one's a 16-year-old. And then after that, 20s, 30s, and now 40s. And amongst that whole group of over 20, there's 3 babies. No one's having kids anymore.
You think it's because of economics?
I think a little bit of economics. I think people are also saying kids are like, they see it's a lockdown. I'm locked down for 20 years. I want to go. My girls want to go. They went to Europe. They want to go to Japan. They're with their boyfriends. Nobody's thinking about kids. Nobody's thinking about kids. My nieces, now they're in their 30s. One's living up in New York. They're making a little bit of money. No rush to have kids. One's down in Miami. No rush to have kids in Chicago. Nobody's having, well, except for the two.
I love the idea that at their young ages they're recognizing to have their adventures. I love that because when I had my first child when I was only 22 years old, and I remember in that era when I had her, it didn't seem far off the path of what my peers were doing.
Right. Everybody you get married in your early 20s, start banging out kids.
Right. And so now when someone is 22 and they're pregnant, everybody's like, what are you doing, man?
It's changed.
Yeah. So, but they are saying because of the pandemic and economics that they're purposely not having kids even on top of all the other history. So 300,000 less babies predicted for 2021.
Wow. Is that, you know what? Let me just say this. You don't think about it, but who fills in the gaps is immigration. Where you got countries that are like Italy, go buy a house for $1, $12,000, whatever. Their people are leaving and they're coming to the United States, and we think everything's fine. But if you have that problem where we're all aging at the same time, we're all 40, 50, 60, you need to get fresh meat, young people to do the service jobs, take care of old people, work at the McDonald's. You expect all that stuff to happen without population coming in underneath, you're going to have big, large gaps. I see them building like crazy in this area. I went out to Lakeland to the air show yesterday and went down a couple places. Places that used to just be strawberry patches are now huge, shopping centers and big, they're knocking down things. They're making big, housing developments. I said, you know what? This rich old people, you're going to have people come in and, service, take care of, get those jobs, because many people don't want to do those jobs, or they don't do those jobs. It's crazy. So immigration is not a bad thing.
No, I'm all for it. I started watching Execute All the Brutes yesterday. It's a documentary about our history and how we came in and how we overtook the land. And I actually halfway through had to stop. It was so tragic and so heartbreaking of the savagery of how people have treated each other. It's hard to watch because, you think about modern day times, you don't think about, well, you know what? I'm going to kill these people because they're in my way.
It's very interesting how we've decided not to fight, and how it becomes the norm is you're not fighting people there because they're strangers. It's very interesting dynamic because, we know that there's police and there's a system of justice, and we could focus on other things than just survival and beating back the neighbors. It's crazy.
No, it really is. But
I mean, I was at the air show, like I said yesterday. So, and my son and I were sitting down having lunch under the big tent on the thing. And here comes another father and son and sat down across and doing whatever. And he's a little bit bigger than me, and this guy's a little bit bigger than my son. I go, what if we had to fight these guys? It's like, it was just kind of a strange thought that everybody engages as gentlemen, but that somewhere in this pecking order of, if the shit hits the fan, how would this dynamic happen? What would happen?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the idea of immigration is brilliant. I think we need that. I think it's good for everybody culturally if we really engage in all different types of people figuring out how to live together.
And I don't mean open borders. I mean reasonable. It's lovely. You're like the pretty girl at the party. You have all sorts of options. You can all sorts of suitors, and you can pick and choose who you allow to come in. That's how the United States should be. Everybody wants to be here. You can come here, but we want to make sure you're qualified, or you're at least you've passed. You waited your term. We're going to come. Let people come in on a certain rate.
And
Whatever makes sense.
like, do you know what it takes to actually live in Canada? They're very strict in Canada. You actually have to, like, if I wanted to move to Canada, which
Yeah.
I've researched, I can't, because I have to have a specific skill set that they need in order for them to accept me to live there
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah, good luck going to Australia and living in Australia. You can come as a tourist, spend your money, but you're not, no thanks. You can't buy,
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Yep.
So, all right, what else you
So
got?
we've solved immigration. What else is on
Solved that.
what's on
We
the
solved
agenda?
that.
It's sad that my entire life we have not really solved that problem. It's always been a problem. 50, 60 years. It's always been a problem. We can't solve this. Right.
I think we can solve it. I don't think the people in charge want to.
I don't know. You think that if you wanted to, you do it.
Well, I think the impression I'm getting is the way they solve it is they only want white people here, and that's a problem. You can't do that.
Yeah, it is a problem. We're going to be our country is going to be tan in 100 years. White guys like me, forget it. We'll be the exception.
We kicked out the Indians, and now we're saying this is ours. Everybody needs to be like us, which is really ballsy. Really, really ballsy, because it's not like we bought land from the Indians. We took the land.
That's back in the good old days where people just took what they, might made right. I mean,
yeah, we've been really pretty horrible. I have some information about dating in 2021.
Please, let's do it.
So I was checking out the Bumble site. I do, when I was on the apps, Bumble was my favorite. There's something called slow dating and new dawn daters. Do you know what either one of these things are? Slow dating and new dawn daters. Slow dating is, they said, because of the pandemic, people have had a lot of downtime, and now they're learning to be more cautious. Instead of a lot of swiping, they now feel like a lot of time has been burnt up. So they want to be more cautious with who they date. So instead of just taking in a bunch of dates, I think both men and women are guilty of doing that. They're doing slow dating, which part of slow dating right now is meeting online first, doing a video chat first before you meet in person, so you know if it's worth meeting, which I'm down with, man. I think that's brilliant. Why take all that energy in meeting someone in real life when, of course, you're not going to know what the chemistry is online, but man, wouldn't that save you some time, Tom? If you're like,
oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I was on, I'm on Facebook too, and I was in some sort of chat room where people are coming out of horrible relationships, and they're looking for support. I go, that's nice. I mean, I was invited to be in this group. I said, I don't know why I'm being invited. I'm not in that category. But I went in there anyway. It's like, oh, this guy, we chatted for 3 weeks online, and and then we met in person, and she said, yeah, it's not happening.
I mean, to be fair, you don't really know till you meet in person. Right. There's no way to know. Someone could be adorable online, but we all know that. Huh?
Hello.
That in-person thing really matters. Who knows what that chemistry?
But you know what? It's interesting though. But who knows what the dynamic is? Somebody might be, becomes afraid of the intimacy that might come with a personal relationship, and is becoming comfortable with just being online friends or whatever. Who knows what's going on?
Well, it says that here's what a new dawn dater is. It's people who have broke up with their long-term partner during the pandemic. So now they're single, but it's been a long time since they've dated.
Right.
So they said there's a lot of these people now that are very concerned because they broke up during the pandemic. They haven't dated in a long time. So they're called new dawn daters. So I think that's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't mind dating someone who's not been out in the dating pool. That was really my issue. Was I was going out with guys that were swiping right and left all the time. They were so bored and so over it. They weren't really that interested in a relationship. They were just interested in going out all the time.
And then vice versa.
Well, it's been my experience. I didn't date women, so I don't know what the women did.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, and vice versa.
Well, but that's how you feel. I want the numbers. No, but I'm saying, Tom, I would rather date a new dawn date or someone that hasn't gotten cynical from all the online dating. I would love it if I started dating someone that has broke up during the pandemic and hasn't dated a lot. Give me that person.
Of course.
Absolutely. I'm down with it. So, I did look up, since we're going to be getting out in the world, people are going to be having parties, I'm assuming, gatherings and things. You know, we used to do, I know you did stuff at the ranch. We used to have parties at the ranch. It was so fun to get all these different kinds of people together. Do you have like a standard thing you say to new people? Like when you meet someone or you want to introduce people, do you have like a thing in your mind? Like, oh, this is what I say. You know, like, oh, where are you from? Or what's your job? Like, do you have a thing you say?
I make everybody wear a name tag.
I know you do, but when you're at parties and you meet people.
No, but I like your topic. Your topic leans that way. I don't have anything that I talk. I usually try to make an observation about the situation and maybe make an observation about the person if I can.
Yeah. Well, they
It's
had
funny. I had a neighbor. I walk around. I walk outside a lot, and this one neighbor just walks up to me today. You're living with who? Where are you at? I said, I'm living with my brother Patrick. My name's Tom. Oh yeah, I'm Carla. She had a couple of dogs. She's like eyeballing me. And what do you do?
She said that? What do you do? That's really kind of ballsy right off the bat.
Absolutely.
How did you answer? Did you answer honestly?
I did.
Oh, okay. Just curious. I don't always answer honestly if someone's put me off. I'll make something up.
It was fun. So that's how that was her opening line.
How do you describe what you do? Like if people ask me and I don't want them to know, I just say I work in media.
I said I sell stuff at home shopping.
Oh, okay. And did she get all excited?
No. Oh, I was going to do that, but I had troubles with the studio or some sort of vague answer about why she wasn't in that same business. I go, well, you know what? It can be hard. She said it was too distracting to be having people talk to them and talk to her in her ear while she was trying to do the show. I'm like, that's interesting.
She said to you that she actually was going to do that.
Yeah. I
think she's a liar. She's such a liar. Not that many people get the opportunity. Give me a break. I'm sorry. That's a lie. All right. So that's my opinion on Carla. So questions to ask at a party.
Yeah.
Here's something.
Is that your nose or are you eating banana?
I thought this was good. There's weird ones, but I think there's good ones too. They say to ask someone, what's some good news you've gotten recently?
Oh, I like that.
I've never thought of that, but I think that's a very good one because it's not too much pressure, but it's enough to create like a good vibe.
Yeah. And they could pick whatever topic they want to go down. You know,
and then you can kind of tell what kind of person they are based on their answer, right?
Yeah, like, that's a good question.
What kind of good news have you gotten? Now, here's another one. I didn't think it was good, but maybe you do. They say to ask someone, what kind of exercise do you like to do?
Oh, I would not ask that.
Thank you. I felt the same way because I thought that's opening a lot of weird doors. Either based on the person you ask, they could be like, do you think I'm fat? Or what are you getting? Right?
Yeah. Kind of are you trying to sell me something? You trying to sell me exercise equipment or a gym membership?
I wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't. I agree with you. For the first time today, I agree with you.
First time today.
I wouldn't ask that question.
many years ago, probably 10 years ago, I was in Florida at a music event, and it was Florida is hot, right? So I'm like shorts and a tank and all this stuff. And I was with my sister and I was jumping and screaming. And a guy next to me said, "Hey, I think I recognize you." And I was like, "No, probably not." And he goes, "Are you a triathlete?" He died laughing.
Exit on the try.
I mean, isn't that a cool thing to ask someone? Because immediately I was very much like,
well, my abs are not exactly
look amazing. I'm sure he was just flirting, but man, that was a good question to ask. And of course, I laughed about it, and it was very funny. But you got to be careful who you're going to ask if they're a triathlete. A triathlete.
It's the opposite of asking, "Are you pregnant? When are you due?"
Which
I've done.
Never do that.
I did it. I was so convinced that I couldn't go any other way.
I have a word. Here's a worse question. You think that's a bad question? Here's something that someone asked me when I was pregnant, because I was 30, in my 30s, right? And I don't think I looked haggard, but maybe I did. But I was visibly like 7 months, visibly very clear. No, this is not a poochy stomach, visibly clear pregnant. This person actually at my daughter's school said to me, "You're pregnant. Did you mean to get pregnant?" That is worse than "Are you pregnant?" And I remember looking at this person. I had a lot of thoughts during my fury 3 seconds of like, now I have to kill you. And I remember looking at her saying, what a really cruel question. Like, what a cruel, and she's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean." I'm like, "You asked me if I meant to get, what the fuck is," now it was in Indiana, so maybe that's some normal there where they feel like they can do that.
It's a passive aggressive question. It's a judgmental question. Like, why would a woman in your condition want to choose to get pregnant? Why would an old lady want to get pregnant? Yeah. Did you want to ruin your life, or do you think your body can handle this?
Yeah. Yes, that's what it was. Okay, so there's a ton of questions. I thought that the exercise thing was weird. Here, you tell me how you feel about this one. Now, if you're just meeting someone, I don't know about this. They say to ask someone, "Tell me what you appreciate about your life." It's a little too, right? A little too broad, a little too.
It seems like, you know what? That type of question isn't a fun question. It's like almost like a question that someone of authority would ask you, like you're talking to a doctor or you're being examined. You know, where's your mental health status here? I much prefer
ask that question.
I much prefer the first question about.
Now, here's another fun one. What was your last Halloween costume? That could be a fun question.
That could be fun. Oh, here's the deal. Can I say something though about this?
Yeah.
If you want to go down a topic, I might offer. Because friendship is you exposing a little something about you, and then they exposing a little something about them, and so now and then we go deeper and deeper and deeper with the exposition and find out, if we're going to be fun friends like that,
right?
Especially now, I might say something about, hey, maybe the second thing I say was something. I might talk about rowing. Can I tell you, I just discovered rowing and I love it. Have you ever tried rowing? So if I wanted to talk about exercise with a person, I might offer a little something about me. Or it's like, this is crazy. I was cleaning out my closet today. I saw my cowboy uniform that it's always my favorite go-to Halloween thing. How about, what do you got? Did you ever have an experience? So I might offer a little something about me first before I would ask that particular question. Otherwise, especially if I'm a man asking a woman, I'm trying to look, oh, I was the devil and I had a little sexy outfit. So, which would be a fun way to go, but let me say something first in a different direction, and you take it to a sexual, thing if you want. Because otherwise, I think a woman might interpret that I'm looking for. It's always the classic.
I didn't think of it that way, but because in my head, I never dressed sexy for Halloween, so I'd be like, "Oh my God, that time I was a lobster." I never think about the whole like connotations it would have.
Right. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't. We've got that classic scarecrow and monkey picture.
No one's ever going to top that.
Me and you, I love it. That's great.
No one's ever going to top the Wizard of Oz.
That's my favorite.
Now here's an inappropriate question, I think. but they're saying these are fun questions you can ask at a party. Did you ever get drunk, order something online, and then forget about it until it arrived?
Ah, that'd be, I mean, that'd be crazy. I'd be fine with that. Because you would, the assumption might be you've done something similar,
But also, so here's a weird one because they have all levels. If someone were to ask me this question, I would probably find an excuse to walk away from them because I would worry about their mental health. I think this is a weird one. What's your least favorite shape of pasta? Why would you ever ask anybody? That's a what? I would see that as someone being on the spectrum. I'd be like, I'm gonna walk over here.
I don't think that's that crazy. I think
Right?
I think that would establish. See, I'm looking for weirdos. So if I ask a weirdo question like that, and the person responds like, "Please, I have no time for that," or like
I would leave.
like
Because
you,
it's just such a weird. What does that have to do with anything?
it has nothing to do. What does anything have to do with anything?
Well, I don't know that you're going to learn about someone asking about the shape of pasta. This seems.
Well, it's you know what, but it opens a door to all sorts of food questions.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about food. We're talking about restaurants. We're talking about 1,000 things. Cooking for yourself. Where my favorite place to eat is.
See, well, I've never been good at when someone's flirting with me, so this is why I walk away a lot. So if someone were to, I'd be like, "Fuck off!" and I'd walk away.
What are you writing a book?
Um. Okay. What celebrity would you want to party with?
Yeah.
Right? It's a little kind of shallowish. I think it would lead to things. You're assuming someone likes to party, even though they're at a party, you're assuming a certain level, and then you're doing that whole superficial, like, aren't celebrities amazing?
Yeah, I'd have to lead in with a little exposition for me, saying I read an interesting article about Matthew McConaughey. Apparently he's a crazy man, smokes a lot of pot. Who do you think you would like to party with? I would have to lead in with a little bit of context with that question.
So do you feel like then when you are at a party, when you approach a woman, you need to have a little bit of context? Because it's sounding like just saying something direct like that, maybe too many things could be read wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to come off as a crazy man, but I think an interesting question. I think I like, what was the first question about that I like?
Oh, the best news. What's the best news you've
Yeah,
got?
I think that's good. That's a nice, safe question.
Yeah, that's something I think I would definitely use because it opens up a lot. And then hopefully the conversation would bleed into something else.
Yeah.
Have you ever been at a party where someone's approached you and says something very interesting and you're like, oh man, that's a good one?
I don't go to enough parties. I wish.
You used to.
I need to go to a party.
You used to.
Yep.
All right. I don't know what time it is.
It is almost 1:00. I know you got to go to your show.
Do you have any, since the sexy tip is a lot of pressure, do you have any good news stories you want to wrap?
I do have good news, and it wraps into the topic. There's nothing like a deadline.
Okay.
So I accepted a gig to do a middle on a boat next month. So I've got to do 20 minutes of comedy on a boat, middle of May.
20 minutes is a lot.
A long time. I mean, I did it last year, which was like everything I have in my bucket. So I've got to relearn my bucket stuff, plus get some fresh stuff.
So how did it go when you did 20 minutes the last time?
But fine.
Okay.
Small group.
Do you do audience back and forth kind of stuff?
As I recall, it was very cold on that boat that night. We went out on a Friday night. It was probably in the 50s, 60s. So there wasn't a lot of chatting. So the group is small, but it's fun. It was very much fun.
Good.
And as long as you do your time, everybody's happy and everybody had a good time. Yeah.
So you're doing this in May.
Yeah. So it should be nice out. It should be nice.
Okay, good. All right. Well, you have to use some of your material on it.
These are all my writings.
All your good stuff.
This is money.
How do you remember everything in 20 minutes? Do you have notes? What are you going to do?
A good friend of mine took a water bottle one time.
I don't care. I don't care how big the water bottle is. You can make a joke about it. I think it's brilliant.
I'm bringing a keg. There we go.
I've seen plenty of comedians have a notepad, and while they're talking, they glance down at the notepad.
Very rarely. One out of 100.
I've seen it. They do it a lot at the Comedy Cellar. A lot of really well-known.
If you're working on new material, it's allowed. Ron White, when he was working on new material, had a pad.
So you'll have nothing. You'll have no props, no nothing. You're just going to do it cold.
I find if I walk up with a note or a pad or this, every fucking joke, I go back to the pad. It's like, okay, please try to be professional.
Right on your hand? No.
It's 20 minutes. You should be able to do. I don't have to bring anybody up. I don't have to thank anybody. This and this. It's just you. Now, if I'm the MC, I got to remember the headliner's name. I got to remember the opener's name. I got to remember the middle guy's name. There's work. I got to remember the drink specials. So I might go up there with a piece of paper to make sure I don't crash and burn on something small. But my set's got to be memorized.
All right. So you're going to start out with a big one, right? To just really lure them in. I'll be anxious to hear what your big opening remark will be.
I got 3 lines that I use.
The one about the twins is good.
Twins is money.
And drinking is good.
The one about drinking. Then my new one is before we get started, let me answer 3 questions before we get started. 6'4", size 15, and 3 times a week. Yes, ma'am. I play basketball 3 times a week.
That's good.
It's a nice soft open.
Yeah. No, that's good. And what kind of group is this?
This will be older people on a boat. Well, so just people on a boat.
But I mean, are they no cursing? Do they have?
Oh no, no. This is, what you may occasionally get it's like one of those day cruises. It's a sunset cruise. We, pick you up at the dock at 6:30. We're going out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and then we're going to get you back by 9:30. You're being fed and you're drinking in the meantime. Now, I think it's a good question. The last time I did this, the only time I did it, was a religious group, and the guy said, "Can you, limit the F, the C, the P, and the D?"
Okay.
I said that
you can do that.
Nothing.
Your comedy is pretty clean, I feel like.
It's adult but not dirty, is what I like to think of it as.
Well, very good. So can anybody get on this cruise, or is it like a private party?
I don't know if this particular one's a private party. Generally, they're pretty much come as you are,
Great. Very good. All right. So on Friday, because today is actually Wednesday, is Matt Davis coming on board? What's going on?
I told Matt to come up.
Trivia. We'll do some trivia. Okay.
All right. And it's 30 minutes right on the head.
Right.
I didn't think we could do it. I didn't think we could do it.
I know. And here you go.
There you go. You know what? I believe in you.
Well, I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise. Thanks for unpacking some shit. We'll see you on Friday with our special guest. Right?
Who's our special guest? Is it this Friday? Next Friday?
Is it Michelle? Or Adrienne Lopez?
Adrienne is on the 23rd.
23rd. Oh. I thought we had a guest. I'm just writing things down.
We have a couple of days. We can bring it back. And if anybody wants to be a guest.
And we're ending the show on as it slides into the abyss.
Well, you know what? We'll have a surprise guest.
Surprise guest.
Okay.
All right. Patrick, get in here. You're the surprise guest. He's not prepared. We're just saying goodbye. I'm just bullshit.
Okay.
Come on up. He's not being sponsored by anybody, okay? Patrick's not being sponsored.
I got my work clothes on. And I'm beardless just for you.
You are. I'm so excited. Look at your beautiful face. Oh, I do like summer Patrick. It's nice.
My baby boy.
Look at that face.
Feels good. Get the air in it. I got to shave now, though. That's a problem.
Oh, well, I think it looks amazing. How do you feel?
No different, really. But I feel like I got to shave now. That's like,
are you happy?
No, but you had the beard for a while, right?
It's good to mix it up. I'll get it back. It'll come back. It'll be like an ebb and tide, flow and go.
You missed the beard already?
Alpha and an omega. Well, I miss not having to shave. I miss, yeah.
Right. You missed.
I knew
not
the show
having
went
to
2
do it.
minutes too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was overhearing that you guys got it in under 30 minutes. I'm like, well, that's not going to last.
And it didn't happen.
It did not happen.
Excellent.
No, but I'm excited to see your summer face. I think it looks great. And that frees you up for your summer dating plan. I think,
Oh.
and then you
Yeah,
can
that's
mix
true.
it up in the fall and bring the beard back.
And surprise everybody. Yeah. Have a whole new run at it.
I'm very excited for you,
All
Patrick.
right.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Seeing you, Linda.
You too.
All right. Are you kids done or you want to make another phone call?
Tom wants to say that's another one.
That's another one in the can. Ouch. All right. See you on Friday.